Welcome to this look at new mods on Farming Simulator 19 with me, MrSealyp. It's Monday the 18th of January. We have new mods, we have a load of updates. The updates are as follows. From top left, the HTZ1722121 by RusAgroTeh says it's an update, but I think it might be new. The John Deere 2410 plough by JA.Modding, the Juskin Delta Cap and Juskin Tetra Cap by Rick Black Label TWD Modding, the Lizard AUS 2.5 metre by Pan Bartosz with help from Hashtag, the Animal Broom by Whiteball Modding, the Deutzfahr 9 series by Blauer, the SX210 ITR by Vanquish 081, the Same Pack by Black Eyes Modding, Crater Lake and Wilhelmina Forest, the maps both by Catalyzer Gaming, and the Easy Shed set by Top Ace 888 have all had updates today. So the first of the mods I'm going to look at today actually came out on Saturday. I didn't review it Saturday. I thought I would roll it up into today's mods. It just made a little bit more sense to do it that way. This is the Iveco, could be Iveco, where I live. It was called Iveco. I believe they sponsored my local football team for quite a while, if I recall correctly. It's the Iveco 19038. This is by Pepe978. 23.71 megabytes download. 17 slots on console. It has a front hitch. Does have the option for a rear trailer hitch. There are a few configuration options on this. What I like about this more than thing is it sounds really good. I mean, I'm no expert on lorries. It may not be the correct sound for the lorry, but this particular one sounds really good. That's what I quite like about it. You will find this under vehicles and trucks. There you go, the 19038. 78 grand to buy, so not too expensive. It will go to 52 miles per hour. We can change the main colour to anything on that palette, like so. Then we've got the optional decals. A, which is standard. The Iveco logo like that, and back again. Now if you have it with that one, you're probably better off with the main colour, maybe in a red, I would imagine, just so it stands out a little bit more, but that would be entirely your choice. Then you can have it without spoiler, with spoiler A, spoiler B, or back off, then attach as standard, or with a rear trailer hitch. Those are the options. 381 horsepower for 78,450. Let's say with a couple of options, if I went maybe for that, and then decals B 78,950. So not too expensive at all. Looks very nice. Let's hop in. That's a proper lorry horn, isn't it? Sounds like it should be on a ship. Lights. Very nice. Inside, very nice too. So we go for the light options. Nicely detailed. Fifth wheel on the back for hooking up to semi-trailers. Should do the job very nicely. There you go. So that came out on Saturday. So technically a new mod, although not one of today's mods, but you know, not the end of the world, is it? Moving on from there. We've got this. These are flowers. That's just what it's called. 0.22 megabytes download, one slot on console. This is by Kacpeo. And they're just a decorative object to put around your map wherever you should decide. These you will find under placeables and decoration. There you go, flower pot, 250 and one slot to place. Very nice indeed. Next on, from there, we've got this. This is the Garden Pavilion. This is by Didek96, 5.07 megabytes download, 9 slots on console, nicely detailed. Just a little garden pavilion with a pergola above the top. Even got a bit of perspex covering on there to keep you dry during inclement weather. This you will also find under placeables and decoration, 1,200 to place. 9 slots for the first one, and it drops down to 1. That's by Dideck 96. Moving on from there, we've got this. This is the water pump. It's another water point. When I saw water pump, I thought, oh, remember, is that going to be one that's going to work with the animals like the Seasons one does? It's just another water point. Once you've bought it, you collect your water from here just inside this hazard marked area, and it's free once you've bought it and placed it. The water is free after that. 23 slots to download, 5.42 megabytes on console. This is by gamerhzs. Lots of detail on that. Just something a bit different, isn't it, for getting your water from? This you'll find, I think this was under placeables and miscellaneous. You go right at the very end, 1,500 to place. Once you've placed the first one at 23 slots, it drops down to 2. That's by gamerhzs. Moving on from there, we have got this. This is the Barn with Workshop. This is by BarT Son V3. 31 slots to download. 31 slots. 9.59 megabytes to download. Another nicely detailed mod. We have got lights on the outside. Please work. There we go. Come on the outside. There's a light switch there for the inside, but we need to open the doors so we can see them. Mind that doesn't take your head off as it swings open. But at the moment the lights are off, but the light switch is just here. There we go. Lights are on inside. Plenty of space, drive through, and space for other things here on both sides. It's nicely detailed. The wood framing, the wood looks like wood, you know, it's very good. And on the end here, we've then got the workshop trigger tucked away inside here. It's going to be for fairly small machinery. You're not going to get big machinery in through this door. I'm not sure how far out that trigger will actually extend. Sometimes they are slightly next to the buildings, not always, but sometimes. And there is a light switch in here as well, he says. Nope. Which doesn't now want to turn off. Oh, there we go. Right. Let me back out. There we go. This you will find also under placeables and miscellaneous. 15,000 to buy. And like I say, 31 slots for the first one, which drops down to 2. It's not a huge building. It's going to, like I say, it's going to be for small to medium machinery. But very nicely detailed. A lot going on with that. Very nice. Now, the next 3 we're going to look at, one of them is a houses pack with 2 houses, and the other one is a small house in a Polish style. These are all sleep triggers, so what I'm going to have to do is show you one, then get rid of it, then put the next one on, because obviously you can't have more than one sleep trigger unless you're running multiplayer at a time. So this is part of the houses pack. This by R.Mihail, 5.17 megabytes download. They are 5 slots each on console. I don't think you can go inside on these. Nope. When we come up to the front door, press L3, and that's your sleep trigger. So this is the first one of the houses pack. Fairly basic, you know, at the end of the day, it's a trigger. And as we've seen with placeable doormats and things like that, the trigger itself is fairly small. The rest of it, and any of these, is a bit kind of bells and whistles just added on. So that's the first one. You'll find these under farmhouses, and we've got house 1 and house 2. That's house 1. In all honesty, house 2 is just a slightly different variation on a theme. It's the same thing by the same modder, by R.Mihail, and they are 5 slots each. What I will do is show you the next one, which is by a different modder. So this is the small house in a Polish style. This is by, I think it's BarT. I mean, it could be BarT, but with the capital T, I'm just reading it as BarT. 6.31 megabytes download, 16 slots. And what I will do now is get rid of one and get the other one so we can have a look at it too. So, as we can see, that's where the other one was. I've placed this a little bit further back just so you can see what the footprint is, because if you put it on top of that one, you'll get the wrong impression. Oh, why wouldn't you? The footprints aren't actually that much different. So there we go. This is the small house in a Polish style by BarT. Again, I don't think the door's open or anything like that, but the trigger is just there. for sleeping through the night. So that's the houses pack and the small house in Polish style. The first set was by R.Mihail, second set by second one by BarT. Moving on from there, we have got this. This is the German barn. This is also by Didec96 that we had the garden pavilion from a little while ago. So this is the German barn. Very nicely detailed. I prefer the detailing on the inside. I will say this though, I think it will be fairly limited on what you can do with it to some degree, but it's still a very nice looking building. 19.33 megabytes download, 30 slots on console. We have got a small door here that we can open. I mean, it's very small, you'd have to crouch right down. Let's close that back up. Then open the whole thing. Nice sound effects. We do have a light switch on the inside, which is just here. And see what I mean about the detail on the outside compared to the inside. Sorry, compared to the outside. The inside, wow. Now it does say for vehicles and crops and things like that. The problem is having these boards here, and I don't think these are removable. We have had some mods before where you can click on them and they disappear. I don't think they do. I mean, you could possibly put small bales, maybe throw some over there. If you put any crops, tip them in there. You've then got to get them back out again. Maybe with conveyor belts you could do that. It's just a nicely detailed barn. Drive through there, and if we go round, we can go up the top there. There is a little bit of a hay loft up here as well if you wanted to put some things up here, and you can drop stuff through into your trailers or whatever you want to do. But yeah, very nicely made and nicely detailed, that. So the German barn you'll find under placeables and sheds. There you go, 19,200 to buy. 30 slots for the first one, which drops down to 2 slots after that. Moving on from there, we've got this. Now, today's odd because there's a few mods that we've got that I thought we'd already had. Now, it might be there by different modders or slightly different variations on a theme, but I honestly thought we'd had this already. But this is the Breslin Lade Square Bale Tongs. This is by DTP Mario. 3.57 megabytes download, 10 slots on console. It is a square bale grab. You'll find this. It's under tools and front loaders. But when you click on it, you can use it either as a front loader tool, or you can switch it from front loader to telehandler, teleloader, or a wheel loader, or back again. So you can actually use it on any of the types of vehicles if you want to. And I've said it so many times before, we do have, let me just click on that again. We do have so many different adapters in the CSZ pack and things like that. You can pretty much put any implement on any bit of machinery. We can change the main colour like so. I got it for front loader, no particular reason, just did. So to actually operate the fork sections on this, R1 and right stick side to side will dig them in and grab them. The rest of the controls are for the telehandler itself. So I'll do that. Come on. Dig them in and lift them up. Away we go. Now the one I thought this was the one that we'd already had. On some of these we've got, they work really well. On some of them you need to keep them in this orientation, because if you tip them they do slip like so. You can see the bales are starting to go. The bales will fall off even though, there you go, even though you've got the claws in them. Now I know I've got these across, so the other thing to do now is raise that out just to make absolutely certain that it's not me that's caused the problem. Is we'll put the bales on this way round, as it could be. This is the way they're supposed to be grabbed and not the other way round. I would like to think it would work in both orientations, but you never know. Grab them again, lift it up. I mean, let's say it works, it picks them up, and you can move them around no problem at all like that. But then as soon as you tip, they do have a tendency to come off, so you just have to be a little bit more careful. That wasn't as bad as before. They are sliding back on now. It's very weird, isn't it, the game physics, how you can do certain things. But there you go. That's the Breslin Lade. square bale tongs, and that's by DTP Mario. Moving on from there, we've got this. Now, I'm trying to remember, was this 15 or 17 that we had this? I want to say 15. We've got the Rostselmash Acros 595 Plus. This is by Puszkap. It's 14 slots for the harvester, and then for the PowerStream 700 header that comes with it, it's another 6 slots. This is 21.81 megabytes download. It's not too expensive, and that's got a 9,000 litre tank as well. I think it's just over 100 grand for a 9,000 litre, which is pretty good in comparison to the other harvesters around that kind of price point. So I like that as an option. It's nicely detailed. The older Rostselmash harvesters, we had the Torum recently, didn't we? The Torum and the Acros, I know, were very kind of slab-sided. The newer ones are a little bit more sort of sweeping, but yeah, it's nicely made. Looks good. This you'll find under vehicles that way and harvesters. So if you're looking around the 100 grand mark and 105, I mean, you've got the Rostselmash Nova, the newer one there, is a 4,500. The TX32 is a 5,600 litre tank. Then we're up to 200 grand for an 8,600 litre for the massive Ferguson Activa. So the Acros 595 with a 9,000 litre tank is only 105 grand. So not too bad, actually. We've got the option of Trelleborg or Michelin tyres. Under each you've got standard or wide option. And those are the options available for the harvester. Horn, beacons, lights. There's no light for the pipe. Pipe out is like so. So if we go through the options for lights, I suppose that's what only is a downside to that. There's no lights around the sides either, so it is really just front lighting on it. That's it open, ready to operate. L1 and X closes it all down, so that's how it would be folded away for storage or however you want to do it. And there's your PowerStream 700 header. In cab, nice and tidy. So yes, I mean, like I say, I know a lot of people are always after new harvesters. I know people want different manufacturers and that kind of thing. For me, it's often about price, especially when you're starting out. What do you get for your money? What tank capacity and that kind of thing. So this kind of ticks a few boxes. It's a fairly large harvester in all honesty. So if you're on a small map with tight lanes, maybe not the most effective choice, but for the price, yeah, not bad at all. That's the Rostselmash Acros 595 by Puszkap. Moving on from there, we are going to... oh, this is another one I thought we'd already had. Maybe I'm losing my mind. This is the Lizard CTA 4500, 4500. This is a liquids tank. The PTO runs the pump for operating whatever you want to do. Now, I've realised after the last episode, someone made a comment, because of the map I'm on, it may give skewed results on what these things can hold. Things like seeders and fertiliser tanks and stuff like that, because I think this map has it enabled so that most things will hold everything. So this could be wrong. I'm going to double check this, and I'm going to double check a seeder we're going to have a look at in a little while. It's nicely detailed. It's a 4,500 litre tank. It doesn't have a rear trailer hitch, so you can't daisy chain these together. This is by JV3D Modding and SleutjesModding. 7.08 megabytes download and 6 slots on console. You'll find it under tools and miscellaneous, I think it was. There you go. 6,500 to buy. Now it says there it does milk, water, liquid fertilizer and herbicide, but like I say, on this map I think everything is kind of open to allow everything to fill up with everything. So I need to check that, because it could be this only takes water and milk or water and fuel, or I'm not quite sure. So what will happen is it will come up on the screen, if I remember, what this actually holds now. Options available. We've got the option of Trelleborg or Lizard tyres. Those are the two options. And that's it. So that is the Lizard CTA 4500 by JV3D Modding and SleutjesModding. Moving on from there, we have got this, the Kverneland TLD91. This is 8.02 megabytes download, 6 slots on console. This by KamUs and Solanz. It is, if I recall correctly, a 9-meter cultivator. I'm sure it's 9. Folds up nicely and tidy, not overly expensive either for a 9-meter. I know on 6 Ashes when I started the Let's Play I was looking for a cheaper alternative cultivator, quite wide. I wish this had been around at the time, because this fits the bill absolutely perfectly. You'll find this under Tools and Cultivators. There you go, TLD91, 42 grand, only requires 150 horsepower, yep, 9 meters wide, runs at 9 miles per hour. There are no options available, you get it as it is. The other thing as well, being that it's 9 meters, let's fold it up. It's fairly slow to fold and unfold, but I suppose that's more realistic than the super fast ones. It's all hanging off the 3-point link, but it doesn't seem to be overly heavy. Now, whether the physics of that are right or wrong, I'm just telling you what I've noticed having on there. I'm not finding that the JCB is tipping backwards or anything. It seems to hold on to it quite nicely, but you might want to run it with the front weight. Just wait for it to unfold. Go make a cup of tea, have a biscuit, pop to the shops, whatever you want to do. So, drop it down, and as you might expect, it will cultivate very nicely out to 9 meters. There you go. That's the Kverneland TLD91. Nicely made, nicely detailed, not a bad price, not a bad size. Moving on from there, we have got this. This is the John Deere 200 cultivator. This is by Centro Sul. This is designed to go with one of the mods that was updated today, which is the John Deere 2410 plough, as far as I can tell, which is by JA-Modding. And you'll see that in just a second, because part of the update is something that allows for this. It will all make sense in a moment. This is 11.55 megabytes download, 18 slots on console. Now this is one of those ones that's going to probably cause controversy, as they often do. This is a cultivator designed to go on the back of a plough. So when the plough goes along, does its ploughing, the basket rollers come along behind and kind of smooth it all out, get rid of the large clods and, do what it should do behind. You can run this on its own as a cultivator. And I know we had the Lizard Crumbler, wasn't it, recently? And people said, oh, it's wrong, you shouldn't be able to do that because it wouldn't work properly. That's not what it's designed to do. And I get that. But in-game, this has to be down as something, and it has to have something, and it does. And it's a cultivator, so it will cultivate on its own. Again, nicely detailed. Lots going on. Not a bad size, this one either. I think it's 12.6 meters. We are going to double check. This is also under Tools and Cultivators. There you go, the 200 seedbed finisher. So like I say, technically it's a seedbed finisher, not a cultivator, but it's under cultivators. 12.6 meters wide, only requires 78 horsepower. Options available, none. You get it in the John Deere green and yellow. So what we'll do is unfold it to 12.6 meters. Drop it down, and it's doing the job it should be doing, which is all very nice. So you can use it on its own if you want to. However, I think the purpose of it being, judging by the pictures, is this John Deere plough that I've been using a lot recently, because it's a 12-metre plough, the 2410. Part of the update of the 2410 is this rear attacher now. Now this rear attacher comes with all sorts of rollers and things you can have with it, or you can have it just like that, which is designed to attach to. Not necessarily that, I suppose you can put anything on the back of it. So then what should happen is the front section ploughs, the second section then cultivates. Now again, that is more of a going for a slightly more realistic approach to farming, in that in-game you can plough or cultivate and your seeder will go over it and seed. You don't need to have a flat seed bed in-game, but a lot of people do prefer to cultivate after they've ploughed, just to give it that slightly more kind of realistic look, I guess. You know, again, it is what it is. Now this overlaps a little bit because the front one, the ploughs are new 12, this is a 12.6, so you've got an overlap of what, 3 centimetres either side. So what we'll do is drop that down. Front one ploughs, rear one comes over it and cultivates what's been ploughed. That's kind of how it's supposed to be run, I guess. But the good thing being, because it's a little bit wider on the turns, it does still, there's a little bit on the very tight turn there, but for the most part it does cover the ploughing in front. There may be a few bits you'll need to tidy up afterwards, but does the job very nicely. So there you go. That's the John Deere 200 cultivator seed bed preparator, however you want to refer to it, by Farm Centro Sul. Moving on from there, we have got another cultivator. We've got quite a few cultivators today. This one weirdly is not showing in the website mod hub, but it is in the mod hub. This is the Lizard CWHR. This is 19.5 7 megabytes download, 7 slots. There are 2 of these. There's a narrow one, a slightly wider one. This is by Paolo 5090R. And it cultivates, it does what it should do. Again, another very nicely detailed mod. Lots going on this. Now this one you'll find under disc harrows. So we've got the CWHR 4.45, which is a 4.5 metre, or the 5.85, which is a 5.8 metre. 15,000, 20,000, they are both 7 slots. Options available, there are none. You get it as it is in either configuration. I went with the larger one, I think. It will say, there you go, the 5.85. Unfold that. Drop it down. And away we go. Oh, that was this other thing. I think this one requires a fair bit of horsepower though. I meant to say that. I didn't show what the horsepower requirement was. Very nice bit of kit. Does the job. Yeah, the smaller one is 120 horsepower. The larger one is 250 horsepower. So quite a bit more horsepower required for the slightly larger one. There you go. The Lizard CWHR by Paolo 5090R. Moving on from there, we've got these, and there are 2 in this pack. This is the MF326 VALTRA Fine 2617. It's by Holzs FS. In essence, exactly the same seeder, just 2 different company brand names on the seeder. So we've got the Massey Ferguson MF326 there, and we've got the VALTRA Fine BP 2617 just here. And as you can see, they're looking slightly different, and that's down to the configuration options. I like this as an option. This is only a 4.5 metre. I say only a 4.5 metre. Again, it's one of those things. You go out into your backyard, your garden, wherever, and you pace out 4.5 metres. It's a fair size. But the detail on this is incredible. This is 30.35 megabytes download for this kind of pack of 2. 17 slots for the seeder, but then we've got this little A-frame attacher that goes on a 3-point link. That is 6 slots. This is by Holzs FS, if I haven't already said that. But like I say though, the detail on here is amazing. All the individual springs. Wow, very, very cool. So, this you'll find under seeders. And this is the other one I'm going to have to check, because again, because of the map I'm on, all of the seeders say they will do everything. So it's a little bit skewed at the moment. But here at the end, we've got the 326 M17 and the BP 2617. They are identical. 4.3 meters, not 4.5. They require 120 horsepower to pull, and 17 slots for the first one, which then drops down. Options available, we've got no for transport or yes. If you go for yes, the difference is you pull it from that central bar like that, and it's 4.3 meters wide. So if you're going down narrow lanes or roads, that's going to stick out quite a way. Or if you go for yes, you can then actually put those down, fold this bar up, and you can pull it from the end there, which makes it a much narrower proposition for taking along roads and things like that. But if you are going to have it in the yes mode for transportation, you then need to go to Tools and Miscellaneous and grab that attacher for transport seeder, which is 6 slots for the first one, which drops down to 1. There are no options on that. You get it as it is. That hooks onto your 3-point link, and then the single attacher attaches onto the end of the seeder. I don't know what way around. Oh, it's because it's not on that one, is it? There's an attacher just there in the centre wheel there where the pin is. Sorry, that's where the rear wheels are. So what I will do with this as well, these are seeders and should only do your regular cereal crops. If that's the case, a thumb will come up on the screen now. If not, then potentially they will do everything, but I don't think they will. So open the cover, L1 and left on the D-pad, opens up our cover, puts the steps down, and you can put seed and fertiliser in. It will hold 860 litres of seed, 1,260 litres of fertiliser. We start it up, we drop it all down, and away we go. Very nice indeed. Then if we go for the 3-point link attacher, didn't go far enough round. We hook up to that rear section there, and it can be transported this way instead, which is pretty much the same width as the tractor. Very nice indeed. But what we need to do now is, I'm going to open my help window because I'm trying to remember what it was. R1. So with R1 and right stick side to side, I can put the bar down by going left on my right stick. So R1 and left on my right stick, and then do that, which brings those legs up, and we are in position to go. I then disconnect that either side of the field or wherever. I can then unhook that attacher. I don't know if you can actually still use it with this attacher attached. This is a test for me because I didn't check this. Probably should have done really. Oh, that's alright, it'll go underneath, so you can still leave that attacher on. Oh, that's pretty handy. And this then will run exactly the same way. Turn it on, drop it down, and away we go. So the two variations on that particular seeder. Very nice bit of kit it is too. So there we go, that's the Massey Ferguson 326 and VALTRA Fine 2617 by Holzs FS, which brings me on to the last of the mods for today. We do have a new map out, Wartburg by Nerox, which I'm going to be doing a map tour on. That may not be this evening, it may be tomorrow morning that actually drops, but bear with me 1 second. The last of the mods is this one, and this is another one that I thought we'd already had. I don't know if I'm going mad or not. Now this weirdly says in the Mod Hub updates, but when you go onto the actual game Mod Hub to get it, there's no changelog, whereas weirdly on the website it's showing a whole lot of stuff in the changelog. I'm assuming it was a PC mod, and I'm assuming part of the update today is console release, but it doesn't say console release on the changelog. So let's just go with it is new, because I can't be certain. This is the HTZ 17221-21. Although that's got a different variation on it, but you'll see that in just a moment. This is 48.4 megabytes download. Wait for it. 50 slots on console. It's by RusAgroTeh, TEH. It's a nice looking mod. There's quite a few options. What I do like about this is it's really, really cheap for what you get. Articulated in the centre, well, just past centre there. 240 horsepower, I think it is. But it is a very nice looking mod with quite a few different options available. Exhausts and all sorts of things, which we're going to have a look at in just a second, and then we'll hear it running. This you'll find under medium tractors, I think it was. There you go. The 17221-21. 55,221 for the base model. Now, I know already a lot of people, the slot count itself would have made people go, right, I don't want to know. Which is unfortunate. It's like a lot of the mods. Some of the real crackers, the slot counts are really, really high. It's unfortunately it's just the way it is. Once you've got the first one, drops down to 3, which might help. Options available. We can have the Lizard 17221-21 2010 version, like so. We can have the 2015 version, which adds another $2,000 on. We can then go for the Lizard 242K21, which changes a few bits around the mud guards and things like that. So that's the original colour, slightly different colour, and then we've got a few mud guard changes, like so. Then we've got the wheel brand F37 or Bale 93. Those are the two tyre options. And then we've got wheel setup standard or twins. That's the only two wheel setup options. Then we've got around this side air filter design 1, 2, 3, 4, back to standard. I do really like 4, but that's a personal preference. Then we've got equipment selection. Now, this round the back here, on 1, we'll put a fire extinguisher on the back there. Design 2 puts a fire extinguisher down behind the seat, just in there, to the side of the passenger seat. Design 3 puts it on the side of the, well, in front of the door to the side on the other side. Then design 4 puts beacons on. 5 beacons with the fire extinguisher there. 6 beacons with the fire extinguisher in the second location. And 7 beacons with the fire extinguisher in the third location. And then back to standard. Then we've got on the back the option of 3-point link hydraulics or tow bar are the two options you can go for with your hydraulics. So those are the options available. Interesting horn selection. Beacons. Lights. I don't think it's got any doors open. But what it does have is on the back. So I go for PTO. Oh, maybe I didn't. Did I go for tow hitch by mistake? Oh. Maybe it's in the middle there. But we can turn on the PTO shaft. Oh yeah. Right in the middle there. So you can turn PTO on and off if you want to. Like I say, I don't think we've got any doors and windows. Weirdly though, for L1 and R1, it's got that option there. It says right stick up and down. I've been moving right stick up and down like Billio, and I can't work out what it does. Maybe it's for another option that I don't have, but I can't see. I did think, does it open and roll down a window? Does it open a side panel or roof, like sunroof, or I can't find anything that adjusts it with that. It's a nice looking mod. Like I say, for the price as well, for 240 horsepower, it's just a pity about the slot count. In cab, very nicely detailed. And what I do like, if I zoom in, let's try and get a better angle on this. That's a bit better. So, by the time my lights off, if you look at the dials in the middle, lights on, as we roll through the light options and off again. If I go through those, when I put the beacons on, got a beacon light as well. I've always said it, I do like a beacon light. It's all there on the dashboard. But yeah, it's a nice mod. Whether we have had it before or not, I'm not entirely sure. If we have, I apologise for wasting your time. But that's not bad at all. That's the HTZ1722121 by RusAgroTeh, which I think, unless they drop any more mods later on and do anything else, I hope they don't. I say I hope they don't. I don't mind having new mods, but kind of catches me off guard. That is it for the mods for today. I hope you found this useful and informative in some way, shape or form. If you have in any way, shape or form, give us a like. If you don't subscribe yet, please do. If you want to leave a comment, feel free. And if you want to share this video, then please be my guest. Whatever you should choose to do. Thanks for watching.